Welcome back to the Forward Moves podcast, where we talk all things fitness, branding, systems and operations and everything in between. My name is Kira. I don't normally get to do the introduction, but this episode is solely going to be around training apps, so I'm taking the lead. And of course, I have Ash here with me as well.
Hello.
Hello.
So weird not talking at the start.
Is it? Just watching me do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, this
The
episode in the hot seat.
The hot topic.
The hot topic of training apps that always has so many questions around it.
When we posted that training app post when I was away, that went off. Like the amount of comments on that post.
And it was just things that are upcoming, like new features that you might not have known about.
Yeah.
And so many coaches were like, what?
We got
I don't have this.
We got like 5 follows from that post.
Yeah. Crazy.
Randomly. And it wasn't even real.
No. Static scroll post.
Yeah. So talking training apps.
Yeah.
Hot topic. The one that we get asked the most and the one that Kira basically lives in.
Yeah, and probably spends the most time talking about when I do have a systems call with someone is the conversation does end up being around training apps. Which one should I use? What's got the best pros and cons? And there's never going to be a black and white answer for it. A training app is always going to be missing something.
Yeah.
Like at the moment, there is not a training app that covers everything.
I don't think there ever will be.
No.
Unless you build your own.
Unless you build your own and you're ready to spend
7 figures.
7 figures. On it.
Before we start this episode,
Yes.
make sure to get a snack because it's going to be a long one. Or if you need to do some cardio, go do some cardio.
Yeah. Use this app to do some cardio.
If you need to get your 10K steps, go do it 'cause this is a long topic that we can talk about for a really long time.
Yeah, it's definitely one that we could just keep going down little rabbit holes as well. So strap in.
So we'll be structuring the episode in a couple ways. So first of all, we're going to go through what apps we're going to talk about, then pricing, and then we're going to dive into the apps, explain what's in them all, and then we'll do some scenarios at the end.
Yeah.
Around the different kinds of apps.
Cool.
However, I haven't actually asked you this question before. How much of an improvement have you seen in training apps over the last year working with them?
So much.
Yeah.
Like a lot of improvement. So there's going to be 4 main ones. I'm just going to say there's going to be 4 main ones that we're going to be talking about in this episode in no particular order. Trainerize, Everfit, Kahuna's, My Strength Book. Now, Trainerize has been around forever. Like it's the oldest standing one, to my knowledge anyway. I know that there's a few others around and in between, but
like
they're the main
True
ones that we
Coach,
handle, that I deal with. And Trainerize didn't really have much of a competitor. And since these other ones have evolved and grown and come onto the scene and become so popular, Trainerize has really had to up their game. And I think Trainerize as a base was good. It had a good basis. And then the other apps have come along and like taken bits out of it that they like, added stuff onto it. And the apps are getting better and better literally like every quarter.
Yeah.
Like they are improving and they're doing things that like I'm not even expecting. And then I'll be like, oh my God. And then I need to even like while I'm building out someone's app, I'll be like, oh, there's a different way that we can do this. Or,
I actually have info.
ooh.
So I had a call with Everfit this morning.
Yes.
Little secret squirrel business there. But they're bringing in periodization.
Oh, cool.
For their
that you can do
programming.
like planning. That is good.
Yeah.
Coaches do like that.
I know they've gotten a lot of questions around that. So
yeah, that is really good. And like clients love to be able to see what's coming up and what their plan is. And
Yep.
also it's really good for coaches because having a structured longevity plan with a client, they're more likely to stay with you for that entire plan too. So if you're thinking like clients get excited about seeing what their plan is, they know what they like to know, how long am I actually going to be in this deficit for? How long am I going to be in this build for? Because the clients do get uncomfortable. You would know being a client yourself that having that forward plan can be so helpful in knowing like, oh, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to slog this deficit out for. But if you can be like, oh, I only need to do it for 2 more weeks and then I'm done. And then I get a refeed and blah, blah, blah. Like it can be so helpful. And then for the coach too, to be like forward planning and you know that like that client will probably be with you for that entire 12, 24 weeks, however.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accountability, you don't want to,
But that's exciting.
they don't want to feel like crap if they don't, reach the end of the plan.
Yeah. And then especially for like comp prep coaches as well.
Yeah.
Being able to plan out and go what's happening in between.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a couple things coming. I can't talk about them, but in saying that, all apps have things coming.
Yeah, they
Everyone's
do.
got stuff coming all the time.
But yeah, for the original question, yes.
Yeah.
They have changed a lot and evolved a lot, and they are getting better and better. And a coach will be able to find an app that best suits them. It might be missing one or two things, but that's not necessarily to say that that app won't ever have it. And you just go with the one that has the most pros
I
over
think
cons.
before we start, expectations, lower them.
Yeah.
It's something we come across a lot, and an app is not going to do exactly what you want it to do. If you want something to do exactly what you want it to do, you can pay the 7 figures to get an app built and manage the development of it. You need to things aren't always going to be the best. So
no. And you've got to think, like, even though you see something as a priority, the people building that platform, they're getting feedback from so many people that also want something completely different to you. So
that's why it's important to give feedback.
Yeah. This is why if you do have something that an app wants, like we've spoken
Tell
to
them.
app companies before and they're like, no one's ever told me that they want that or that that's a problem.
Yeah,
or
all the time.
and we're like, and then we ask coaches, we're like, have you ever messaged them or
Yeah.
put it? And they're like, oh no, I just didn't think I should or I would or anything would happen from it. It's like, well, how do they know what people want if you don't tell them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's really important to be able to do. And also it depends on the background of the app company and what their interests are into. Like if they don't really use nutrition or they're not from a nutrition background, then getting nutrition into the app probably wasn't their forefront.
But there's also
putting it
lots
in.
of things that people don't realize. Like, for example, with nutrition, paying for nutrition databases. So there's nutrition.
Yeah.
For example, Australia has a nutrition database. We all know it, NUTAB. In order to get access to that, it could be like $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
So training apps need to get like I'm super green here, but I'm pretty sure it's like an API connection in order to use their data. And in order to use their data, they need to pay like $10,000 a month. So they can't just whip it out. They need to actually validate the fact that they're going to give a company $120,000 a year to use a database.
Yeah.
And make sure like then I know that was what was halting Kahuna's a little bit as well. I'm pretty sure it was like databases.
It depends on like the licenses and stuff
Yeah.
that the app that one app is trying to read of the other.
Yeah.
I know that like MyFitnessPal brought out different licensing agreements and then like new apps couldn't actually have access to be able to read diaries. Like,
I find that funny because Everfit you can.
Yeah. And
can't you? As a coach,
Yeah, you can.
So originally it was just Trainerize that could do it.
Yeah.
And then they changed the license so no one else could.
And I'm
But
assuming
now Everfit's on it.
I'm assuming that they would have had to pay a lot to be able to read it.
Maybe Everfit's been around forever.
Maybe it's been around,
but they've just been hiding in the corner.
Maybe.
But apparently we're only Australia, and this is wild to think of think about how many of our clients are on Everfit. 15% of Everfit's users are in Australia.
Wow, that's crazy.
The rest of them are in America.
Yeah. So if you think about it, like, because Australian coaches, we've been told before that Australian coaches are so different to other coaches as well. So like what Australian coaches want is so different to what like American coaches want and stuff. So apps that are missing.
I know of an Australian app coming to the market.
TBC.
Coming soon.
We will obviously be able to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
When it's
talk
here.
about it.
We will talk about
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it'll be cool to use. I'm excited to use
Yeah.
it. But yeah, so
Yeah, we just
Threw me
lost
off
our train of
there.
thought. As you can see, we can talk about training apps forever.
Yeah.
There's a couple of apps that we're not going to mention. So like Train Heroic, True Coach. There's a new one called OneFit.
yeah,
We don't know too much about it, so we're not going to talk about it. There's lots of different bits and pieces on the market, but the 4 really dominant ones are these ones.
Yeah.
And these are the ones that we work across every day.
Yeah.
And to be honest, everyone's swapping and changing from all of them all the time.
yeah,
So
for sure.
I'm noticing a new trend going into Everfit a lot lately though.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's definitely some really good key factors that Everfit does have for coaches to be able to utilize. And yeah.
I'm noticing a lot on Trainerize too, like going back to the old school.
Yeah, actually, like, to be fair, I was personally like, because the other ones came on board and they did have other things integrated into them, I was kind of like, well, Trainerize has fallen behind in my opinion. But I am being brought back towards Trainerize. Like, the basics that they have are good.
I just can't stand the gimmicks. I don't want a thumbs up when I finish workout.
But all they have done, so yes, but
I want to know how many golden retrievers I've lifted.
But that's the same gimmick, just a different emoji.
It's animal.
I know, but when you think about it, it's kind of the same thing. Like, you actually love that part of Everfit because it's an animal, but you hate it just because it's a thumbs up.
I think it's also the use. Branding is important. I think it's the use of blue and yellow as well.
You just don't like.
I can't do it. It just turns me off. Whereas Everfit is so sleek and minimal and just like nice.
But also, like, if in the advanced branding in Trainerize, like, your colors change.
I haven't used it as a client in so long, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The colors do change in advanced branding in Trainerize. So
the only thing that frustrates me is just customer experience is so hard with Trainerize.
Yeah, there's not that much that you can do internally unless it's manual in the calendar when you're setting up a client.
Yeah.
But
we'll dive into these. So we get lots of questions around what should I use? What should I be using? We really can't answer that question. It's all going to be trial and error for you. There are systems that we know work very, very well. There are systems that work for specific niches, but just really recommend going out and trying them for yourself. This episode will cover a lot today, but let's dive straight into the deep end.
Well, I'll also say all 4 apps that we're going to talk about all have a free trial. So go on, try out the back end, add yourself as a client, see what it looks like using it as a coach, see what it looks like using it as a client, and test them out. Please,
for the love of God, use it as a client. Please. That's like the biggest. I find it lazy. I'm going to say I find it so lazy.
Yeah.
If you want to trial an app and not try and figure out what it's like as a client, like, where's your care factor?
Yeah.
Like, your customers need to enjoy their experience.
Also, you need to know how it looks on their end, because if they ask you questions and you don't know the answer, like, it looks a bit shit.
And I know that it's overwhelming moving apps, but it's the bare minimum. Even if you're on an app with another coach, put your training program into the app.
Yeah.
Give it a crack. One of our clients does that. She gets her training on spreadsheets and she'll put it into her app so she knows what the customer experience is like as one of her customers. So she's constantly innovating with it, and she likes to track on an app. But yeah, just please download the customer side of it. It's just so important to do. And if you don't, this is a little sneak treat for you. If you don't want to do it, find a coach that has an Everfit subscription and sign up to it. Do something like that. Do a little bit of market research like that and pay, the $70 a month. I know this is like, people probably get icky about this, and you're not stealing an idea, but if you really, really don't want to set up a customer profile, go through another coach's process, see how they've set it up. Like, so important.
Obviously, like, you want to try and do it if you're not going to be locked into like a 12-week contract or whatever.
Yeah, don't copy. But I mean, like, subscription style is the same layout anyway.
It's going to be the same sort of layout.
Yeah.
So obviously there's no rules against paying someone.
Yeah.
Like, don't be that guy that asks to see stuff for free.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to learn and you want to see what they're doing, pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I take a consult, I'm like, do you see Everfit? And I screen share on my phone. What does it look like?
I think every time I have a systems call, they'll be like, Ash, show me what Everfit look like on
Maybe I just need to sign up to all 3 and be like, here you go, everyone. Yeah, customer experience.
Yeah.
So first of all, big question is pricing.
Yes.
Training apps are expensive.
They are expensive, and I'm actually going to bring my laptop towards me.
There's different kind of stacks with training apps. So when we're talking about stacks, we're talking about base subscriptions and add-ons.
Yeah.
So I know that Trainerize is per seat capacity.
No. So it's a per month, but it's like capped in groups of like up to.
Right.
So there's caps and you pay more per limit. So it'll be like up to 10 clients, up to 20 clients. So like it does help that you can pay in increments like as you go. But yeah, and it does end up working out like the more clients that you do have in your package, it is worth like each client costs less the more that you have.
Yeah.
But obviously it goes up and up the more clients.
So that's the only way that they work.
That's the only way that they work, but they do also have a studio option where it's up to like 500 clients.
Damn,
So-
is that cheaper?
It does work out cheaper, but it's $250 a month
That is so cheap
USD.
for 500 clients.
Yeah, and it also includes all of their optional add-ons as well in that.
Wow, that is really good pricing.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Damn.
And people say Trainerize is really expensive.
I guess in the loop of all the other subscriptions you're going to be paying. Yeah. But when you break it down, you know.
So it's like roughly like $500 Australian so it's like $1 a client.
Yeah.
Really.
$1,
And that
$1.25.
includes advanced branding, video coaching, pro level branded app, and Stripe integrated payments as well. So
I definitely think like, do they have limitations on the packages, the add-ons that you get? Like,
No,
is
it's
that
all
the
of them.
only one with the add-on, or if you go for a lower package, you have to add things on manually?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do, so let's go their baseline. A lot of the payments that I've done up are, it's about 5 clients is the baseline, and then it goes up from there.
Yeah.
So for Trainerize, the pro package with 5 clients is $22 a month.
Yep.
And then that includes like just all of the basics, and then you can optionally add on. So like video coaching is $10 a month, advanced nutrition coaching $45 a month, pro level branded app is $99 one off, and Stripe integrated payments is $7 per month.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at all of these add-ons, sometimes if you've got like 10, 15, 20 clients, can be worth it to just look at the studio program. And then you know that your bill's also going to be the same always, and you've got everything included.
Yeah, plus you need to pay for Stripe integration, which is really common across all the apps. Like, you need to pay for it. And this is really coming back to how automated do you want your app, because if you pay for Stripe integration, you can automate everything. Whereas if you use Nui, you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
So
there
you gotta
are
pick and
like
choose your battles.
positives and negatives to using integrated payments into the systems, but overall, Trainerize medium to higher end range. It depends, but I would say it's like pretty fair.
It's probably, I'm not going to get into it, rabbit hole. Next step, pricing. Rabbit hole if I start.
So Everfit, in my opinion, is one of the higher ones.
Yeah, it is it's very bougie.
It's also very, everything is its own separate payment unless you're also doing the studio package.
That's frustrating. So you pay different times of the month.
No. Like all of the different packages, like your add-ons with Trainerize, it's similar for Everfit.
Yeah.
So the basic for 5 clients is $19 a month, which is actually cheaper than the 5 clients of Trainerize.
Yeah.
But Trainerize includes a little bit more than Everfit
That
for the basics.
is baseline.
That is very basics
like,
of the app. So
that won't give you any access to resources or anything.
that really just gives you programming, singular chat. It actually doesn't include group chat. And it just like your programming macros, community group is included in that as well. And that's pretty much it.
When we tell people to jump on, we say it's minimum $130 a month because they need to pay for automations, resources.
Yeah. So automations is $29 a month. That's your auto flow in Everfit. That's your customer experience, basically. And then on demand, which is the resource hub to host your files, PDF documents, ebooks, all of that sort of stuff, and on-demand programs that you can like push to your clients is $25 a month. This is all USD, by the way.
Every app will be USD too, by the way, guys.
Yeah. Payments, so integrating Stripe is $9 a month, and branding is a $75 one-off.
Yeah.
For advanced branding. So Their add-ons are
Also-
actually more than Trainerize.
Also, the difference between them two, Trainerize, pretty sure you can have your own app.
Yes.
Or did
So
they remove
when you
it?
pay for advanced branding, your app comes up on the App Store.
And Everfit doesn't do that.
No, it
Yeah.
just flips your icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the same like with Trainerize. I'm pretty sure it has the business name as the app name.
Yeah.
But Everfit will have either Training App or Everfit.
Yeah.
You can't change that. That's a limitation. Yeah.
Yep. Yes. So that's pricing for Everfit. So, but if you do the studio package, it's $105 a month for 50 clients. So the studio package for Trainerize is 250, but up to 500 clients. So studio package for Everfit starts at 105 per month for 50 clients and goes up from there.
And you also need to buy an add-on for that too.
Yep. So it's extra still if you want advanced branding and automations and payments.
Yeah. Automations is a non-negotiable.
Yeah, it's
need to
pretty
have
good to
that.
have. That's how you set up so you don't have to manually add in like your clients' check-ins on their calendar, like the automatic habits and things like that. Otherwise, you're going into their calendar when you're setting them up and you're setting them up in the calendar, but that's what you have to do in Trainerize anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're paying for ease of service.
Yeah,
And
essentially.
the ease of service is incredible. But anyways, we'll jump on to the next one. By the way, I'm not biased. I just have a love.
She
Deep
just has a
love.
love as a user,
Yeah, just
as a client.
Literally because I've just had such a great experience as a client.
Yeah. But we'll just also disclaim that Ash does not use the back end.
No, I don't set up training apps at all. That is not my forte.
No, where
So what
Ash
I'm saying,
loves
I
it,
love
and I'll be
it.
like,
saying-
well, it does have its problems.
I love it as a client.
But all of them have their problems. I feel like I love an app and then I go off them and then I love the next one and then I go off them and then I jump around between apps of which one's my favorite. So moving into our next app, we have Kahunas. Now Kahunas is incredibly competitive with the price. Like the price is great. So
I just don't understand.
I don't know how. So the starter pack is $49 a month and up to 50 clients, includes everything except custom branding. So literally everything that's in the app, and they do have quite a lot in the app. Like the app is pretty good itself. Then we're moving, so that's their baseline. So like the other ones are like starting from like 5 clients per month and upwards. Kahunas is 50 clients, $50 a month.
They've done that so well.
$1
So
a
smart.
client.
Yeah.
Literally like
So
so
smart.
good, especially if you're an entry-level coach.
Yeah.
It has so much in it.
It allows
for
you
someone.
access to a software when you're entry level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go to $59 a month and it includes everything, including branding, up to 100 clients. Amazing.
And like I've seen so many big coaches make the switch, and I'm like, you would be saving thousands a month.
So much.
Thousands. But
So
apparently they get the money up from add-ons, like adding a coach.
So there is a business option
Yeah.
for teams with multiple coaches. I don't have the price against
I
it.
think it's like $27 or something a month.
For teams with multiple coaches, 10 team members and unlimited clients, but I have not written what the price is for it. Please
I'm pretty sure it's like 27.
have a look.
I don't know why I'm dead set on that number. I'm probably wrong.
27? What do you mean?
I don't know.
27 for what? It's 27. I don't know. I was like, I just said 59 is the other
59
one.
for 100 clients is just bonkers.
$99 a month for business, which is up to 10 team members.
27.
Yeah. Also, all of their options you can save even more paying yearly.
Right.
Like you save 15% if you
Just
pay yearly on
insane.
starter, 20% if like you pay yearly for pro, and 20% if you pay yearly for business.
How, like, I don't understand. I don't get it, but maybe,
Crazy. But very competitive. Great if you're starting out. Great app to get yourself onto.
yeah. I don't mind it.
It has a lot integrated. Like I quite enjoy using Kahunas. It's just slow.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Look, it was really fast at one point, and now it's a little bit slow. But Kahunas
They're
is
improving.
like 2 years old. I'm pretty sure
It's-
they're
it's
only
young.
2 years old or
Yeah.
something.
It's young and they've done a lot.
And remember guys that when you're picking a training app, they've got like 70,000 users on this app.
Yeah.
They can't just fix it overnight. They've got to validate it, because if they do fix it, remember when they fixed the exercise library and the whole app shut down?
Froze.
The entire Facebook page was blowing up, and then they deactivated the Facebook page. Like, I understand, and this is like the biggest thing. I would be so stressed as a training app owner, because like people's businesses rely on it. But this is the thing, like, it's not just you. There's 70,000 other people it's going to affect. So it's another con. But
and like, they've got to do the software update at some time. Like, I know it sucks that we're also in Australia.
Always gets hammered because it's in the middle of the day for us.
We cop it. Yeah. We do. And that's just...
I'm pretty sure they can separate servers though. So they can have a server for the US and then Australia. But then... I think it's expensive.
But then also because that we're behind, we can have glitches because that server's updated but ours isn't. Right. And then like, I remember
just living in Pommy once, down here.
And it was like, it's better to do it all at once, because if they do it slowly and then our stuff isn't loading because everything's loading differently on another server, and like, and they're like connected and bouncing off each other, and oh my God.
Like, we are 5 years behind the fitness world apparently down here. So.
Apparently. But yeah, so they've definitely done a lot, and the pricing is really competitive for what it is. Not for what it is, like in comparison.
Yeah.
And then My Strength Book pricing. It works off of a per client basis only. Yeah. So there's no...
They're expensive.
Yeah. So it's $3.99 per client
USD.
per month. Yeah.
There's 7.
And there's no getting cheaper as you get bigger. Like it's the same, which like technically $4 a client per month, when you think about how much they're paying you, isn't that much. But at the same time...
In Australia, it's $7 a client a month.
Yeah,
it's USD.
True.
And like, for example, I've had coaches on there with 50 clients.
Yeah.
Paying $400 a month.
Yeah.
And now they've gone to Everfit and they're paying $150 a month.
Yeah.
Like,
true.
Pick and choose.
Yeah.
It is pretty expensive, but we do know that you're paying for a specific element on My Strength Book by paying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So like, it can work out okay, but yeah, the fact that they don't have like tiers where like the more people you have can work out cheaper per client, I think would be a good thing for them to have.
Yeah, it's a competitive advantage. I reckon like even if it's buy 20 seats for startup coaches, you're just encouraging them to come on board. Like, but in saying that, My Strength Book is an athlete app.
Yeah.
And I really think that's where Mike was going with it. Like, you pay a premium price to have.
Yeah, and like they've got a lot integrated into it. It is fantastic for strength training, coaching, with the ability of like 1RMs and the percentage and load lifts.
They've got like heaps of testing.
Estimated, and there's quite a lot of tech in it, and it's definitely cool like what they've got in it. But the pricing wise, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't compete.
Doesn't really compete.
If you're not a specialized app kind of thing, and it's can be slow.
Yeah, it can be slow. Look, they all have their loading time issues, in my opinion. I experience glitches on all of them. So if you think that you're looking for an app that doesn't have any glitches, you will not find one. It's an app.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing, but one of my clients went from one app to another, had a really bad experience on an app, went to another, and the app glitched, and she was triggered. She was like, Ash, it's glitching. I'm like, it's an app. It glitches. And she was like, I was like, it's okay. It's okay. She was like, it's glitching.
They will glitch. It's an app. Like, it's online. It's a server. There's millions, like hundreds of thousands of people on it all the time.
But in saying that, across every single app, we've heard the positive, we've heard the negatives. Like, there is not one app that is preferenced across the board. Everyone has an issue with a particular app. Yeah,
it honestly just depends on what you're looking for, what pros are going to outweigh the cons, and what you're willing to sacrifice to have it meet your criteria on a different app.
Yeah.
So that's why we say go in and trial it, because we want to make sure that like what you're choosing an app over is worth it, choosing it over another one. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's pricing. Again, keeping in mind that some of some of the apps are higher priced, but they're higher priced for a reason. Like,
Yeah.
especially Everfit being a higher price, you save money on like a Jot form subscription because you won't need it.
Yeah.
And Kahuna's, like, you just can't compete with it. Can't
Kahuna's
compete with how cheap they are.
with the pricing, definitely, and how many forms they also have integrated into the app. Literally the only form that you would need outside of Kahuna's is an exit form.
Yeah.
That's it. Everything else is included in form-wise. If we're going to talk about integration of forms, may as well. So Kahuna's, you would pretty much, everything's integrated. You've got lead generation inquiry forms, you've got onboarding forms, check-in forms, everything is there. All you would need is an exit form. And then Everfit, everything's pretty much included internally of a client's existence. So onboarding and check-in forms. The only thing that you would need externally is inquiry and exit. So outside of being a client, you would need forms. Trainerize, you can use for an internal form like the onboarding, but that is the only form that they have integrated. And the onboarding form is actually like, it's kind of codey. I'd say it's like a middle ground between being a coded form and not a coded form. Like you still have to use like the brackets and stuff like that in it, and lots of people don't like it. And then no other forms are included. So you need inquiry, check-in and exit forms all outside of that. And then My Strength Book, they only have internal forms as well. So they only have check-in forms. Check-in only. Yeah.
And did you guys know, little pro tip, if your customers aren't doing their check-in, it's probably the training app you're on.
It could be. People love to be able to be in one app for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we're constantly going on about like the apps like Everfit and Kahuna's.
But
I need to stop saying please. That's why we're constantly going on about the newer ones on the market.
You can make it look more internal than it is using an external form. And by that, I mean in Trainerize per se, they don't have the forms integrated into their app, but you can add it into their calendar like it is. So it takes a little bit of manual effort, but you can integrate it so that it does look internal in a way that like it pops up on their screen every Friday for their check-in. You just have to enter it in reoccurring on their calendar. And if that's what you're willing to sacrifice for enjoying Trainerize, that's just something that you're going to have to do. Or you send it out as a group chat, or you expect your clients to fill in the form and tell them to save it when you onboard them. So it depends. There's ways around things for sure.
With apps like Everfit, your chats in the app.
Yeah.
Kahuna's, your chats in the app. But I do notice a lot of the coaches that we follow that are on Kahuna's use WhatsApp. And then you need to use WhatsApp for My Strength Book and for Trainerize, only because we're really well known that their messengers are quite glitchy. Like there's a lot of our coaches won't use the Trainerize messenger at all because it's just so glitchy.
Yeah.
And I've heard quite a bit about the MSB one being glitchy as well, so they prefer to use WhatsApp.
Yeah, honestly, I've had lots of coaches tell me that they hate I've had a coach tell me about individual apps that whatever one they're on, they don't like the messaging function. That's not, to be fair, that's not what they're built for.
Yeah.
Like they haven't really focused on it.
Yeah.
They've focused on your training and programming and stuff. And to be fair, like I know that you might hate using that message function, so you use an outside one. I almost want to say like tough luck, use the inside, use the chat. Like don't have an outside chat function only because like that also affects your work-life balance too.
Yeah.
Clients think that they've got this constant access to you because they're on a different app, that they've got this constant chat with you, being able to access it on there, and then you might tell them something in that chat, but then they want to see it in their app, so then they have to go find it in this chat where like they want to keep everything in the app. Like their experience to keep everything in the one app and find everything that you've said to them about training in there, I would much prefer that over sometimes it glitching.
Yeah. If it's super glitchy though, I get it. I get that a lot of people are on WhatsApp anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I know WhatsApp, like I know it's popular, but I have a weird thing about people having my number. I don't want people to have my number because it's happened to me in the past. It's happened to you too, like with the business. people will take your number and call it from WhatsApp. And I don't want that kind of thing. Like, I want to keep that separate.
Random numbers call me through WhatsApp, and I'll have like missed calls from international callers, and I'm like, what? So I don't love having WhatsApp.
Plus, WhatsApp is glitching out at the moment on Mac. I cannot send a message from my laptop. Oh, it drives me insane.
That's so
like
weird.
It doesn't work properly. I have to do everything from my phone, and as soon as I pick up my phone, I'm going down the bloody doom scroll hole, and I can't stop.
Distracted. So everything glitches. It depends. I've had some people say that their clients don't mind having the different apps and they don't find a problem with it. Sure, do whatever works for you. Like, I'm not going to tell you that you have to use the internal chat, but I'm just saying maybe take a poll of your clients and see if they like having two separate apps.
Or give them, I don't know why I'm doing this, but just be like, hey guys, for 1 week only, we're doing messages from this app. Let's see how it goes.
Make sure it works. See how it goes. Give me feedback. Do you prefer it out or in? Because I do know that the apps, some of them, I think maybe only Trainerize now has a limit on how long you can send videos for. But
Everfit does it, but if it's over a minute, it glitches.
Yeah.
So but that's really good for coaches because they don't want to be watching you set up, you pack down. They want to see the 1 minute.
Tell your clients, get rid of the start, get rid of the end, send me the movement.
Snip that shit.
It almost makes them shorten their videos.
Yeah, and I find that Everfit does degrade the quality that little bit. Like it's not like it's blurry and you can't see it just a tiny bit. Trainerize, I know, does degrade the quality. We've got a lot of feedback around that with coaches.
Anyway,
yeah. So just true practice when you're talking to your clients, like snippet 67 seconds max anyways. Yeah. Because if you're reviewing 5 form videos for a check-in, that's 5 minutes that you're looking over it.
Yeah.
Like, so it doesn't take more than a minute to do like an exercise, surely.
No, if you're doing 12 reps, like a minute max.
I don't even know. I haven't been to the gym in like a month.
Well, if you think about it, like 60 seconds, 12 reps, how long are you spending doing each rep? Like 2 seconds?
I thought that was 6. Wait, no, I was looking at my movement. Anyway, so now we're going to do a deep dive. I'm kind of nervous for this because we're just going to get stuck in a hole. I only know 2 apps really well, so you know them more than me. So what one do you want to start with?
Ooh, what are we starting talking about exactly?
The app, what's included, what elements you'll get, what we've experienced with them.
Okay.
You can talk about coachability.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just start from the top that we've been starting from this whole time. So we can start with Everfit. Everfit, it does have a lot of inclusions inside the app. Obviously, we've spoken about the different price points for each part.
Yeah.
But it has the capability for internal forms. It has the capability for customer experience with their auto flows, habits, forms.
Also, it only has light technology available. And I know this is so ridiculous, but it's a thing. You know how like some people choose light and some people choose the dark screen?
Yeah.
It's only got the light screen available.
Right.
And I know that
technology.
I know that this really irks people. Females really love the light and males really love the dark. And if I look at a dark screen, I'm procrastinating, whereas if I look at a light screen, I'm not procrastinating. So it's
so random.
Just a little heads up. But you log into Everfit, you've got all of these resources in there. So first of all, the coaching profile. I think it's really good.
It is pretty good.
On the back end.
Yeah, it is pretty good, definitely.
Yeah.
It takes you through like all of their different tabs that they have. It's kind of all in the one spot. It does have graphing.
Are all the graphs in the one place? Because I know on Trainerize you have to click the different screens. I'm pretty sure on Everfit they're all in the one spot.
You do have to click through the different tabs to see the graph of each thing. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure on Everfit they have like a tab that's got like 2 graphs in one. I'm not too sure.
I think so.
But I know you can have like notes, goals. You can like as soon as you say
so the home page has like their profile, their info, what they've done. It does have like
their weight, what they've lost that week.
I don't know if that's on.
Yeah, they've got like the weight. They've got your last session. It's got your name. It's
and
got
then
your
they've got
goals.
the goal, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, like it does have a bit more of a recap than the profile of, say, Trainerize.
Yeah, and they're bringing in periodization, which I think would be on that page if they bring it in.
Yeah, probably.
Which is really cool. And then they've got a food journal.
Yep, so you can see
Lots
My
of
Fitness
coaches
Pal
love
diary.
that.
Is that what
No,
you
they've
mean?
got a food journal.
Oh, the
so
photos.
for those who aren't tracking, can take photos and upload it. I know a lot of coaches love that.
Yes. So
especially when their students
if you have
aren't
a client
eating.
that is just tracking, like you just want to see like what they're eating via photos, they're not tracking like macros or calories or anything like that, they can upload their food journal via photos and you can give them feedback to be like,
they can
add more
type
protein
captions
or like
and
blah, blah,
stuff.
blah, and like add things onto it to adjust the meals without needing to adjust like calories and macros and stuff like that. So
attach it all in, which is really cool.
yeah.
Then you've got the connection to My Fitness Pal. So it connects and you can see their diary.
You can see their diary from inside the app.
You can see their food averages too. So across the board, you can see. I'm thinking about my check-in and what it looks like.
So you can see because it integrates into My Fitness Pal. So in the macros section, it will come up to say like what's been consumed macro wise as well.
It integrates with Chronometer as well.
Yes.
Chronometer?
Chronometer.
Not too sure how to
I
say
haven't used it much. I used it like back in the VA days a little bit, but not really.
It was very overwhelming for me because it was like all natural.
Huh?
I want My Fitness Pal back, please. Had it since 2015.
Yeah. But yeah, so has all of that inserted in like the customer, the client profile that you can see, which is cool. You can even look up like each movement that they've done and like the highs and lows and
the photos are on the front screen, the before and after photos. You can see their photos.
Yeah,
on the
like
front screen,
the check-in. Yeah.
And then like when you open the photos up, you can compare them.
Yeah, you can click that one, and then compare.
Yeah. And they've got the weights attached under the photos. Yeah. And then they've got, the training programs that they've done.
Yeah.
You kind of see their calendar. I'm pretty sure it works that if they've done it, it highlights it a particular color so you can see what they've missed and what they've completed. So like, say I've completed a leg day, it'll go grey, whereas the ones I haven't done will stay black.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
On your it'll be a different color. Yeah. So it'll be like mist and it'll stay a different color and then it'll be like green on the ones that are done. Yeah.
And then coming into the training side of it.
Yeah.
What is the programming? Like I know that you're all over this.
Yeah, so the programming can be really good. You've got different options to be able to do like EMOM style training, normal strength style training. Yeah. You can add in different sections. So in the
Does
one
it come with a video library?
Yes, yeah. You can use Everfit's video library and you can add in your own.
Is it just a YouTube
mixture?
link?
Yeah, YouTube or Vimeo link.
Hot tip.
Actually, you can upload files into.
I would recommend against that.
Same.
Yeah.
Recommend YouTube videos all the way.
What's the hot tip with YouTube?
Hot tip with YouTube videos is if you ever record a video library, always put it into YouTube, make an unlisted playlist and upload them as unlisted videos. If you upload all of your videos into a training app and you don't have the original files, you cannot pull those videos from that training app ever again.
Plus it slows your app down.
And it slows your app down. So anything that you load into your app is a usage of your data, of like how full it is. Like think of it as like your phone and you've got X amount of storage. The more that you upload into it, the lower the slow times. Slower the load times will be. So unlisted videos on YouTube means that nobody can view the videos unless they have the link, essentially. So, yeah.
It's not IP. It's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, if you do want people to view your exercise videos, just have them on your library normally. It doesn't really matter.
But the exercises, like, they come through really cool on the client end, like really clean.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Landscape too. Landscape for YouTube videos works way better. If you put it in portrait, it does that like background thing.
I have to as a client, when I open it, I have to like zoom in if it's portrait.
So it doesn't even fill in the background.
It does the half a screen thing.
Yeah.
And then like I click on it and it pisses me off because it doesn't load properly.
Landscape.
So yeah, make sure it's landscape. And please, for the love of God, when you're doing a form demonstration video, if I have to watch the person talk about what the cables are, I'm chucking a tantrum and I'm leaving. make sure it starts just as you start the workout.
Yeah.
Just as you, like literally before you're about to push, press play, push, do 3 reps and then stop it.
Like as a client, I want to just like see how I'm supposed to be moving.
Nothing worse than when you load a video, it's like da-da-da-da-da.
And it's like a whole explanation of all of it. And you're like, oh my God. And then I was going to have to watch a documentary first.
One of our clients does it really well. Rach does voiceovers. So
Yes,
she'll
some
have the
people do,
work.
yeah.
That takes a lot of time to do though.
So much time. Like that's a big task. Otherwise in Everfit you can put the instructions written too. So you can have the video and then you can have written instructions. It's kind of all you need.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do like if you're doing voiceover, like that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of work. It
Back
is
to
helpful,
programming.
but anyway, back to programming. So lots of capabilities in Everfit. The programming it's a whole calendar view. So if you do want, like, let's say you're building out a 12-week program for someone and you've got like three different sections. So like 3-4 week blocks. You do need to create the whole first week and then you need to copy and paste throughout the calendar. The limitation with that is that if you make an edit to one of those days, you then need to go and make an edit to all of those days or delete it and then copy and paste it back in.
Can you only paste 1 week at a time?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can hold down shift and go paste, paste, paste to multiple weeks. Yeah. The only thing what I would suggest with that, if you're making a templated program and you're making it for 12 weeks, only do weeks 1, 5, and 9 and then copy that to the client's profile and then make your edits and then copy 2, 3, 4. Then copy.
That's a really good tip.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah, that's really smart. So with the program editor, I know that this is a big thing. Is it like a drag and drop? Like everyone knows Trainerize, so is it kind of like where you drag the exercise across?
Yeah. So you can search in the library for the exercise and drag it over, or you can click add new exercise and search in the library there and just click it.
Right.
So you can do both, and then it does also show up on the right-hand side what your program looks like, and you can like drag and reorder and stuff like that. So yeah,
it's got like rest timers and stuff too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you put in the rest times, and they can hit like start. And
I've never done this because I've just never swapped an exercise. But can you put exercise alternatives in?
You can.
Everfit?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can select. You can also. This is in the settings of Everfit in the default settings. You can set up that like clients can do alternate exercises that you prescribe, or you can give them abilities to swap out an exercise whenever they want and search through the database.
Right.
So you can give them access to either.
Cool.
Or they can only choose from the list you give, which is like when you're doing the programming, you can click like edit and add alternate exercise, and then you can select another one that they can choose from.
Yeah.
What?
I'm just thinking of the good girl, bad girl machine. You'll hear it in another episode, guys.
I was going to say, I don't know what order that was coming in, but.
So they're like one of the biggest things, like as accessibility to easy programming is a big one.
Yeah.
Another question I tend to get a lot, and I'm like, I don't know, is say you're on my profile in Everfit and you create me a program. Can you save that as a template to use for later with another client?
Yeah.
So it just saves to the template library.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So even if so you can build out in the program template section, or I can build out on your calendar, and then I can go, oh, actually that's a cracker program, and I can go save as program.
And you can use that in subscriptions as well.
Yeah, you can copy that to like the on-demand section.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
That you can have.
So out of 10, what would you give programming?
I would say it does glitch out on me sometimes. Like I'll copy and paste like a whole week and one day won't turn up in the week and stuff. I would say like 7.5.
7.5. That's pretty high.
It is pretty high. It's pretty good. 7.5. 2 and 8 when it doesn't glitch.
Nutrition coaches. You can also do allocated macro days, so you can have high day, low days.
High day, low day, you only two options. So if you have like a leg day, an upper day, and a rest day, you can't. So it's only 2 options at the moment.
Yeah. I had a running with a high day, low day the other day.
Did you?
When I was doing when I was doing my photo shoot prep, I had a high day on the app and I made it a high day in my MyFitnessPal, but I allocated the high day to a Saturday instead of just the one day. So the next Saturday came around and I was like, oh my God, I've got so many calories. And so I've put like an Easter egg in it or something because it's near Easter. And then on the app, I was like 200 over. I was like, what is going on? I could not figure out for the life of me.
You did it on
Human error.
Completely your error.
Yeah, so it doesn't, your macros, although your MyFitnessPal syncs and your data syncs, if you set a high day, it's not going to set it through MyFitnessPal like that.
Yeah, they're completely separate. They only read the data. Yeah.
But you can actually see all the food, which is really cool. Like as a customer, you can see it, and as a coach, you can see the quality. But I'm pretty sure a lot of coaches prefer to look at the diary anyways.
Yeah. So,
but there is a limitation with that on MyFitnessPal now, because remember, you don't have premium, do you?
No, and they stopped being able to view diaries
so I
free
can't
people.
View your diary now.
No, because I'm on a free version.
Sometimes I was like, oh, what's Kira eating?
That's so
So if you're the coach is premium but you're free, which 90% of clients would be, you can't view their diary. So Everfit kind of bridges that gap for you, which is good.
Yeah, that is good.
So that's like coachability side. Now, nutrition is lacking a little bit, but they are doing beta testing on a meal planner right now.
Yeah. So that will be interesting to see what that's like when it comes out. I haven't had a
I've had a look into it. I've looked at it because Rach put her name down for beta. And only thing is you have to fill out the database by yourself. I don't know if they're adding in a database, but we had to do it from scratch kind of thing.
Oh.
So that would take up so much time.
That's a lot
offshore
of time.
VA for that kind of stuff, guys.
Yeah.
But maybe because it's beta, they haven't purchased a license for a database yet.
Just to see
so
how
I don't
it
know.
works?
Yeah. I don't know. But there are meal plans, and it does change the customer interface of the app too. Like I can click on meal plans and see. Rach deactivated it. Another thing with training programs too is you can either stop your client from seeing what the future workouts are and they can only see their week, or they can see each week.
Previous week, current week, next week, or plus 4 weeks. I think it goes up to.
But I would say one of the limitations on the customer app is that you actually have to swipe through the weeks. Like you can't see it like a month view.
You can't see like a calendar. It doesn't give you that sort of view. Like you can't see it like all listed out. That annoys me too. I don't know why.
Just going to jump in and say, as we talk more, I'm like, oh, we should have done an episode for each app because it's going to go forever.
I reckon
we'll fly through. Next step.
Forms. Forms does have integrated forms. It's a type form.
I really like their forms.
Their forms are good.
Besides their limit on their T's and C's. They've got a 10,000
They don't have a T's and C's thing that they can put in it. So, 10,000 word limit, but most coaches' T's and C's aren't over 10,000.
They've got an option though now, don't they? They've got like add a T's and C's form. I'm pretty sure when you like go to make an onboarding form in the onboarding flow.
There is a templated one in
but
there.
it's really bad and you can't edit the template. Make it from scratch. Yeah, I like added the template in and then I couldn't edit the template.
Okay.
But their forms I really like their form. It's kind of like type form based.
It is type form.
Yeah. And you with the forms you can get like signatures and terms and conditions in them as well. They're really good.
And I do also like the fact that they're metric questions. You can have it sync to the client profile. So when you get them to do their onboarding form and you've got like weight, height, there's a couple of other questions and you can like date of birth, everything like syncs to the client profile, which is cool.
Really cool.
And answers it in the app itself, which is cool. And then you've also got the resource hub.
We'll go autoflows first.
Okay.
Because that ties into forms.
Yeah.
So in the autoflow, they've recently introduced an onboarding flow and they've got autoflows. So the onboarding flow is for every single user that signs up to your app will have to fill in that questionnaire.
Yeah.
And there is a limitation with this. So
yes,
with the onboarding flow, basically if I added Kira in, she clicked on the link, opened the app, she physically could not get through to the app user face unless she answered all the questions, signed off the T's and C's at the end, and then got into the app, which is absolutely fantastic for our clients. But if you are a coach that offers subscriptions and premium coaching, they have to do that every time. So they would have, if your subscription clients with no personalization, they'd be filling in a personalization form. But we did kind of notice that they're bringing in a new onboarding flow?
I don't know when this is going to exist, and I don't know if it is going to exist, but in the onboarding flow settings, it's got this little tab down the bottom that says this is for all clients, and it looks like it will be a button. So I don't know if they're going to bring in something that you can filter what sort of client this goes to.
Yeah.
But then it's like, are they going to bring in a second option that people will still have to sign off T's and C's? So that's the only thing, because I'm like, will everybody else not have T's and C's at all?
And then the onboarding flow is really made in mind of having a specific program attached, because it goes onboarding flow and then it goes community group.
Automatic messages to like welcome them on.
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
And then it's got assignments, which can be community group, and it can also be a program option. And then it goes automations where you can add them into an auto flow straight up. And that's really only going to be used if you have one program option.
Yeah, if you've got one offer, we only use it for the T's and C's and adding into the community group automatically.
T's and C's, messages, and adding into the community group. But then you're also limited, because if you do have subscription and one-to-ones, you cannot choose the community group unless you have everybody in the same community group.
I'm a big believer in having one community group anyways.
I think having one community group, but then also everybody's in it, and then having one for premium clients only.
Yeah.
But you could add them into that manually when you onboard them.
Then they've got normal auto flows, and I love the auto flows.
The auto flows are good, but I do have issues with it.
I have some issues with them sometimes, but basically what an auto flow is, guys, is it'll map out a specific period of time. So when you go set one up, it'll be like, how long do you want it to run for? And you can say 26 weeks, right? And then basically what you can do is, say your check-ins are on a Monday. For the full 26 weeks, you can put a check-in form and duplicate it for the entire 26 weeks. And say you've got that, you've got all your photos, all the stuff that you have to ask your client, you can just chuck it in. You can chuck in automated messages, you can chuck in all that kind of stuff. And then you can call it like online coaching auto flow. And then when Kira comes on board, she's onboarded, I can allocate that flow to her. So I know that every single week on a Monday, she'll get her check-in form, her progress photo, prompt, all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then once she's allocated to it, I can go into her profile and still customize it if I need to. Whatever she
you can
needs.
still add in like habits directly towards me that I want to reach, and all of that sort of thing that you can add in. So it is very cool. You can add customer experience into it, where like every week's for the 12 weeks. This is something that we specialize in creating in the Business Moves program. But creating a customer experience where like they get a weekly message or a weekly update on like a video or a document that's in the resource folder, and you can put in these messages that's like going to help them throughout their journey of coming on board with you. So it is really cool in that regard. The only thing that I would say it limits to is you have to set them up on the right day of the week. Otherwise, it all gets thrown out.
You have to set them up on Mondays.
Yes.
No matter when you onboard them. Like if you onboard them on Tuesday the week before, like if you come through us, we'll set it up properly for you. But basically, if they come in on the Tuesday, you need to say, hey, next Monday, I'll activate you into your auto flow, but you can still program for them prior to that. They just won't get their prompts.
They won't get all the next prompts week and everything. And if you really want them to start that week, you can say like if they're starting on a Wednesday, sure, you can start them on day 3, which is technically a Wednesday, but they won't get those first 2 messages if you set up like a welcome pack and a welcome message and blah, blah, blah. Like they just won't get that at all, and they'll just start them from Wednesday. It still lines up. You can still go in and manually add it to their first day if they're going to miss that day, but that does also affect like when they're coming on board and their automations and blah,
but
again,
blah, blah. It's a limitation for an incredible feature. Like I love that feature, and especially when it comes to like building a community, like you can put them internal incentives in there. You can do all the stuff that you typically forget about, like your 4-week feedback form, your 8-week feedback form. Like it's so good. Like I really, really love it. The only limitation I find with that, and before we jump into this, you can have multiple different auto flows for all your different packages and you just manually add your clients in. Yeah. So like once Kira's been onboarded, I'd go to the auto flow that I want her in and then add her in, or you can even go through her customer profile and add her in that way. But then coming into resources, so all of Everfit, again, fantastic feature. All your PDFs will be within the app itself, all your on-demand and stuff like that. You need to manually allocate that to every client.
Yeah, unless you have payments and packages set up in the app.
Right.
So if you have your payments integrated in Everfit, you can go payment, sequence, auto flow, resource folder, community group, like on-demand programs, everything all in the one. But that also won't activate until the following Monday. So if they do have it, they don't get access to the resource folder until the following Monday. They don't get added into the community group until the following Monday. Like they just get access into the app now, but they don't actually get anything in it until the following Monday. So
yeah, and a lot of our customers don't do payments through the app, so they need to manually add the resource, which again, it's a minor limitation. But the resources in the app are great. They are really good.
The only thing that I would say is Everfit graphics sizing does my head in. Like, and I don't even have to make them, but like their resizing issue in their app, and they don't give you the dimensions on the back end to what size they're supposed to be, and then you have to open the app and see if the words fit, and like if it, oh my goodness,
just email them, we've got contacts.
I'm like, what are the sizes, what are the dimensions, and we'll do one for one client and it'll fit, and then we do it for and it doesn't fit. We're like, how?
Yeah, it can be a little bit annoying.
But
it's really cool.
Yeah,
I do like it. You can have videos and you can have resources.
You do have limitations in each resource folder. You can only have 25,
no, 10 by 25 or 25 by 10.
What?
You can
25 resources in total in the one folder.
And 10 resource folders.
Right, yeah. So it does limit you, because if you do then split it up, you then have to add your client into multiple different separate folders. I will say though, this is probably getting a bit technical, but a client has to accept the invite, and then in their profile, you can go training, add, autoflow, add, on-demand, add, but you can't access that on-demand tab in their profile until they've accepted their invite.
Oh, okay.
So it's easier to add them from their profile into the resource folder, but if they haven't accepted the invite yet and you want to get all your onboarding done, you have to go to the folders and add them in manually. Anyway, that's probably a bit nitty gritty.
But it probably should be a second step to onboarding anyways.
Yeah, honestly, like most of the time when I tell people that like this is your onboarding process, it's like they've accepted, you send them an email, they've accepted their payment, you invite them into Everfit, they do their onboarding form and their community group automatically, and then all you need to do is add them into their autoflow in their resource folder, done.
And then following resources, they've got an internal community group, which I'm a huge fan of.
It is good. It is good.
A lot of
Facebook groups are a dying breed.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of that thing where the bigger you get, the more engaged your Facebook group will be. But we notice such a boost in our customers' engagement when they go into the Everfit group, because it's all on the one platform. So if I've got 90 seconds between a set, I'm looking at my community group and I'm going to go see what's through it.
Also, you can connect leaderboards for the auto flows.
Healthy competition is
well.
Good. Yeah.
So that is good too.
Like who gets the most steps gets the prize. Like it's really, really great. The only limitation is if you move apps, you need to get everyone into a new community group kind of thing. No,
but also if you have a coach and you've had a coach on Everfit and you're no longer coached by them, this is like client-wise, if you're sitting in there deactivated, you can't get invited to another coach. You have to be deleted from.
Really?
Yeah, because I do it for our clients when we set them up and I use my email as a tester. I have to go and delete me from deactivated to make my account again.
That's a bit rough, because what if you can't access the last coach? Yeah.
I don't know. You would have.
It's like an awkward conversation.
Yeah.
No, I used my work email.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was, yeah.
We'll leave it there, because I was like, wouldn't you have gone through this?
No, because I used a different email.
Gotcha. So yeah, that is an issue.
Yeah, that is an issue. That's annoying, because especially like if you've ended on bad terms, but also like when you leave a coach, you feel really awkward if you start with another coach because you don't want them to be upset.
I know, and you don't want to be like, hey, can you delete me from your deactivate? But also that means that fully deleting your account also won't bring over your old data into the new coach's
That's so annoying. That is a limitation.
Yeah, should probably bring it up with them. Yeah. Be like, excuse me.
Adds to the note. And then they've got their packages and their services, which is basically an automated way to buy a program and gain access straight away.
But, and I will be honest here, figuring out setting that up was a bit difficult.
Yeah.
it is odd. You have to go in and then you make a package, but then you have to make the sequence first, and the sequence is what happens when they buy that package. So you go in, you make the sequence live, then you make the package, how much the package is, and then you attach that sequence to that package. It's a bit like when I was first using it the first time, I was like, huh? I had to write down the
I was confused
steps.
when I first saw it too. I was like, not really
what?
sure on this.
Yeah. So it was a bit confusing.
And their Stripe is through like a separate Stripe portal
Express
too. Yeah. Stripe Express doesn't have that much data on it.
Very, very limited.
Yeah.
You can't do discount codes, and you can't access like the actual like client info really. Like it only gives you a brief breakdown of like when you go into the package, it'll like say total revenue, how much clients spend, blah, 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 blah. Like it gives you a brief rundown. That's in the separate packages.
Yeah.
But you can't see it. Like it'll give you a brief rundown overall, but you can't see like the back end of Stripe. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. Also, you do have to pay for Zapier automation too, and what Stripe
limited
and what Stripe can read because it's Stripe Express.
Yeah.
It actually doesn't have that much information in it either. So
limited.
Yeah, payments through Everfit, I'm a bit iffy. I would say use payments for Everfit if you're doing subscription style packages, but for one-to-one clients, I would
use Nui or something like that.
Yeah, preference.
Onboarding manually isn't that hard. It's
not that
literally a link, click.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's pretty good.
But overall, I would give Everfit like a good 8 out of 10. Like it is and you know why I give it that? It has been the only app on the market in the last 2 years that has remained really consistent.
Yeah, it has been pretty good.
Yeah. Like when I think about the crowds that come to us, the most complaints, the most problems, they're normally the ones that have niggles, but it's not a complaint. Like it's a...
Yeah, true.
It's like it's just the forms didn't work today, or it's not like they had a full-blown crash. And
yeah, true. Yeah, just a small glitches here and there.
When I was talking to him this morning, he was like, oh, yeah, like reliability is our top value. And I was like, I love that.
Okay.
That's
pretty good.
So we'll jump on to the next app because we have dived into that app pretty deeply. But is a fantastic app, especially if you are a Gen Pop, pre-postnatal kind of coach, any kind of coach really, but in particular pre- and postnatal, Pilates, things like that, because you do have the on-demand video. So customers can sign up and just watch videos. They don't need to follow training programs, and it's really, really great.
Yeah, you can have the on-demand section where you can have like programs that people can just put into their own calendar for one, but you can also add in, so if you're someone that provides like yoga videos or Pilates videos, or you collab with other people that you can put their videos into there, like your clients can actually go into that database and just follow along a video. Like it is pretty cool that they have that capability to do that included in the app. Obviously as an add-on, but as a client included in the app, it is a cool add-on to have. Like, or you could even do like a hotel gym workout, or like being able to do that for people so that like if they're away training, they don't necessarily have to stop coaching with you because you've got that option there for them, and stuff like that too, which is cool.
It's really cool. And if you're adding a recipe book, add the book, not the recipe individually.
Yeah.
And fill your resources up.
Yeah.
Oh, and always compress your PDFs.
Yes. Always compress PDFs, because again, it will fill the storage of your app, really. Yeah. And it'll load quicker for the clients depending on their Wi-Fi and data.
Absolutely. So with this episode's obviously going for a really long time. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 training apps this time, and then we'll do 2 training apps the next time. So it'll be a 2-parter series.
Yeah. At least we've covered like the basic of like pricing wise and.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But what training app do we want to go into next? Okay. So next app is Trainerize, which is the OG. It's the grandfather. It's been around for ages. We're dusting some dust off it because it's honestly, Trainerize is just the baseline for this industry.
Yeah, and I would actually say it's making a bit of a comeback, to be honest, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Coaches have a lot set up on it if they've been on it since day one. Yeah. It's a massive task if you do want to move. You better make sure that if you're moving everything that you have off of Trainerize into a new app, you better love that new app, because it is a lot of work.
like we've got coaches that have been on Trainerize for like 8 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of data. And that is one thing, if you do move training apps, your customers are going to lose their data. So make sure to take screenshots and hold that data somewhere for them.
Yeah. I even had someone the other day, and they were going to go through like their client's profile when they're adding them in, and add in like, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to have to add in like every single weigh-in that they've done. And I was like, no. I said, add in the peaks and like troughs, the peaks and troughs, like the big points and what the date was. She was like, oh, that's such a better idea.
Yeah. Like even like take a screenshot, upload it into their documents onto their new app. Be smart about it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Trainerize.
Yes.
I feel really lost here because I really don't have anything to do with it.
What was the
besides the email I get every single day about being invited to an app?
What was the key topics that we started with?
So when you log in to Trainerize, what's it look like?
Yep. So you've got your dashboard there that will give you an overview of clients that are coming to the end of a program. You've got notifications about like what clients are doing and stuff like that. Actually, that is one thing that I will compare with Everfit is Trainerize will give you like what people are doing and stuff like that. But in your notifications tab on Everfit, you can create a task. So you can go and create yourself a reminder or a task like in Everfit and give it like a due date, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Trainerize will go like clients completed workouts, hit their nutrition targets. Like it'll give you like a rundown and who's coming up to the end of a training program and stuff like that. And then you can go to like all of your clients, everything like that is all there on the homepage for you.
Coachability, what's it like?
Coachability, it is good. So some coaches like absolutely love the periodization of coaching programming in Trainerize. Like they love it. They love the ability to do like block 1, block 2, block 3 and like have it planned out and like the periodization that they go through.
Is it drag and drop?
Yeah, drag and drop.
Because everyone
you can type too. So
everyone compares it, like every single app is compared to Trainerize on the market.
Yeah, so in it you'll go like you'll have your whole library and you'll search it in and then you'll like drag it over to, or you can click it. You can click or drag.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would say with that is like you can have your library added in, but it will not stop their library from showing up. So you can put like the filter, but the library.
I've heard lots of things about
the library could use a little bit of an
I've heard
update.
the form is bad in it.
There's some wild exercises on there for sure. But again, like I would promote any coach. I would suggest any coach do your own library. You want your clients to move a particular way, show them how.
Yeah. And don't rip the Band-Aid off with the library too. Like rip the Band-Aid off with some things, but the way that we recommend doing a library, as you program a client, go to the gym, film the exercises, add it to the program.
Yeah, or just like go through your most used programs and exercises, make a list, film them, start there, do it incrementally.
So the programming's good.
Yeah, the programming is good. I would say it does have its limitations in, say, the options that you can choose within the programming itself. Like EMOM-wise doesn't really have that capability. I would say like notes-wise, it's capped at a certain amount of characters so you can't type like a big note for a client. I would say like the training is good, but it does have limitations on what you can program really well. Yeah. But it's there. If you change one of the days, it changes all of the days, which is helpful, instead of having to go and change every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would that get frustrating though if you just wanted to change one day?
You can update it that it does change. Like you can set it as like increases or decreases in reps like as the weeks do go on, but it will update like their program if you like change an exercise or whatever. So you can do it as like the reps you can set as like going up and down.
Right. And then what about data wise, like checking over training programs, things like that, like the back end of it?
Checking over them? Do you mean like once they've completed?
Yeah, seeing like what's completed, data, is it easy to view? I have heard that there's separate graphs on Trainerize, and that's the most frustrating part of the app.
Well, Everfit also has separate graphs, like going through the different, so you have to click on each body part.
Yeah.
And I would say actually Trainerize automatically will ask the client to track every body measurement.
Yeah.
Everfit, you select your body
Yeah.
measurements. But if you have messed up your settings for each client or in your default settings, like it won't automatically select them all, and you have to select them all.
Right.
And like make sure your default settings for your body metrics that you want to attain from clients are set up properly.
Yeah.
And then also make sure that matches in your auto flow settings, because if you add in your clients but then the auto flow settings are different, when a client gets added into an auto flow, they will take over those settings. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so Trainerize, it will have all of the body measurements, and it just depends on like if you tell your clients to do some or all or whatever, but all of them are there anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. It is a different page for each body part and stuff like that too though.
And then nutrition wise, I know it syncs with MyFitnessPal. Does it still have the license, or did they remove that license?
Yeah.
It still has the license.
Still there. You can still see the diary and everything on there. So same as
that's
Everfit
good.
that way.
That's helpful. You can't. I remember there being that you couldn't see nutrition averages on it. Can you see that now? I remember that's when people were like, I need a spreadsheet because I can't see averages on Trainerize.
I might actually have to double check that,
Yeah.
because I'm not sure if you can, but I'm pretty sure it was like you get notified that they've hit their nutrition goal and stuff. So
Yeah, but you can't see averages.
yeah. Oh yeah, like across the week. Yeah.
That was a really big one, because I remember
No, I don't
when
think
we
you
made
can.
spreadsheets, everyone was like, I just want to see the average data.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
Yeah.
No,
So
I
that's
don't
a
think you
limitation
can.
with Trainerize. What other capabilities? Is it just chat and that's it?
Group chat. It does also now have that leaderboard function. So
Yeah.
you can set up like a challenges that's a threshold or a leaderboard. I've heard a lot of coaches say that they don't like using the chat function on Trainerize. I'm not 100% sure why. I do know that like there has been glitches before. Like I've been a client and I've like sent my coach a message and then she just straight up didn't get it.
Yeah.
And then I go back into it later and it's gone.
Yeah.
So I have heard that before, but then I've also heard people say that they have issues with Everfit messages that they just like don't send and they disappear. So
I heard that when you send videos on Trainerize.
yeah, well, they've got a minute cap on it, so you can't send anything over a minute. But like
They just put in the chat function.
voice message function.
Yeah, which has been pretty popular.
Yeah, I haven't heard like any like bad feedback around it or anything.
I haven't heard any feedback around it.
No.
Like I follow the Trainerize page, but I haven't heard anything around it.
But yeah, so I haven't seen that many glitches myself personally in the chat function. But yeah, like some coaches just don't like it, but I think a lot of coaches just like what they like.
I think from memory, it was just a bit slow.
Yeah.
Whereas WhatsApp is the more immediate.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, for client experience, being in the one app, honestly,
They
I
want
just
it all in one spot,
yeah, they do want ease of use. So, and not having to be like across multiple platforms, have to go here to message you, but here's everything else. So I recommend using the in-app function, in-app chat function as much as you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then like there is some onboarding that you can do in Trainerize. It's just really limited. Like you can do the consulting form, but again, like as I mentioned, it's coded. It is an easy
What
code.
does it look like? Like when you sign up to Trainerize, because you know how you get that little message and it's like your coach has invited you.
Yeah.
Is it the first thing that pops up?
Yeah, so when you sign in, you'll get prompted to like fill in a consult form. So it is like a little button, like an onboarding form essentially. But like to set it up in the back end, you have to write like bracket, drop down, bracket, option.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, so it's like a basic coding system of how to create the form, and it's not easy.
like
and if you
that.
get one of them wrong, the form doesn't work.
I don't like that.
No, I don't like it
No,
either.
you might use external.
Yeah. And you can attach like some PDF documents to that too, but you do need to have the welcome email active to send those. But then also like they don't have a place to keep them unless they download them themselves and keep them.
Yeah,
So-
they do have the PARQ. Like I know they're
Yeah.
renowned for that PARQ, but that's not T's and C's. That's liability.
No, that's the same as doing up like your console and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I would just recommend using an outside form platform and then putting your PARQ and your consult like all in the one form, because also like clients don't like doing multiple forms as well. So having it all in the one is definitely going to be better for the client.
Sorry. But they've got no internal form software, hey?
No, none. So other than that consult form, they don't have any forms internal. So everything has to be external. But what I recommend for coaches when they're setting a client up, similar to going into the client's calendar and setting up like in Everfit, how you would set up like their habits and everything like that. When you're creating their profile, I would just have like a templated check-in message with your link to your check-in form, go into their calendar and set up a reoccurring message. You can select auto message, body stats and photos all in the one task and put reoccurring every Friday, every single week or fortnight or whatever into their calendar automatically. And then it's like a set and forget, and it's like it's doing its own auto flow, but
So
you're
it's
just
like an
doing it
auto
manually.
flow, yeah.
But you're just doing it manually, and a lot of coaches don't realize they can do that. So having that there is something that I set up.
So what do you mean you're doing it manually if it's auto?
So it's automatic once you do it. So it's
so you got to do it
manual
for each client
that you set up. So it's just a step that you need to do when you set up the client. But once you've set it up, you don't need to do it again unless they get to like the end of the 12 weeks and they're going again with you. Just make sure you go into their calendar and make sure that they've got their reoccurring message.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to send a message to send a check-in form on Trainerize, hey?
Well, essentially, yeah, because there's no other way to give them the form.
Link it as a task, like you know how they've got the tick off tasks, like eat 5 veg, 5 fruit.
Well, it comes through as a task, on their calendar.
So you can tick it and click on it and open up the form.
Yeah, it comes up like the little like habit on their screen, but it's like it's an automatic message, so it comes through as a message and not like a task.
I can see why that would be a little bit frustrating because customers can tend to ignore messages sometimes.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
Especially if there's like a really busy group chat. It would be annoying to get like a check-in message, but it's still a great function.
It's still a reminder to that specific client where if you're utilizing group chats as your way of sending your forms, clients think that they can hide and they don't get seen and they like just won't do it, and they'll think like, oh, well, other people are doing it, I don't have to do it. But if you're sending them a singular message, they're like, that's my coach telling me I need to check in.
Yeah. So I do notice that check-ins on Trainerize have the lowest rate of being checked in.
I have a client, an old coach that I used to have. She had no problems.
No problems.
And she didn't even we all saved our own link. She didn't send it out every week.
Doesn't she use a spreadsheet though?
Google form.
I just a lot of the coaches I talked to on Trainer, I was like, yeah, barely any of my clients do check-ins.
She had no problems.
It could be multiple things,
it's
like boundaries and things like that. But one of the limitations I don't like about Trainerize, and I think they need to improve this really, really, really soon, is the need to use Google Drive for resources.
Yes. Honestly, 2 things that Trainerize could do that it would probably become my favorite app is a resource hub, somewhere to host PDFs and documents and guides and integrated forms. If they brought those 2 in, they would probably become my favorite app again.
Because they do the package function, hey, where you can just buy and be added into programs. Yeah.
Subscription programs, so easy to do through Stripe. You can set them up automatic. It also integrates really well with Zapier. So you can actually set up quite a few Zaps. Yeah. So
they do. They do integrate really well, hey, because they've got the open feature of Stripe, the full.
There's a few different things. There are some limitations, obviously, but
when you set up Trainerize, does it create a Stripe portal like a normal Stripe? That's good.
Yes,
because that's what you want.
It's like a full Stripe portal, and it's your Trainerize attached to it.
Right.
Yeah, but it's cool. A full Stripe portal, not Stripe Express.
Yeah, and their before and after photo function's super good too.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Really clean.
Yeah, you can compare them and stuff.
I do like the way they have the dashboard. I like the toggles and what's included with all the toggles, but they do just need resources added in.
Yeah, they just need resources. You can add attachments to a client's folder, but that's for you to view. And you can add a meal plan. You can send them a PDF, but I'm pretty sure only one lives there at a time.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to like replace it.
And what's their recipe hub? Like you've got the add-on for nutrition with Trainerize.
Yeah, you can do the meal planning on Trainerize. So you can do like full meal plan functions.
Is there a database?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a database on there.
I wonder. I've heard a lot of people use it and then not a fan.
To be fair, I haven't used it because like I don't do a lot of meal planning on any of the app.
Yeah.
Like I'm not nutrition based and I don't import that sort of data for anyone.
Yeah.
Where like I do programming if I'm like setting up apps and stuff like that and doing program transfers for clients.
Yeah.
But I haven't done any nutrition transfer on any of the apps to be open with that.
I really do think that nutrition just doesn't hit the mark in any app. Like there's always gaps across the board.
I haven't used the Kahuna's one. Apparently it's pretty good, but I haven't used it either.
Yeah. I think
I'll have to use them.
What was I going to say about Trainerize? One of the other things that I noticed a bit, it's really hard to set up customer experience on Trainerize.
Yeah, you pretty much, if you want to set up customer experience utilizing emails, but then again, like it is really good like to use an outside form. So let's just say comparing Everfit and Trainerize, right? Using an outside form like Jotform for your onboarding is great for your email marketing platform because Everfit, your inquiry form is an outside platform. You can add them into your inquiries group from them filling out that form. There's no automation to move them into current clients. Where Trainerize, because all of your forms are outside, inquiry form, add them into inquiries, fill in an onboarding, add them into current clients, fill in exit form, add them into ex-client list. So like I don't mind that the forms are outside for that part because you can do your ecosystem in your mailing list really easy. If you're doing Everfit, you need to manually change them into your current clients if you want them to be moved on your mailing system. Where I do like the fact that they get moved automatically into current clients, because then what we set up for the need to use outside platforms like Google Drive, like a welcome PDF folder, like a file, all of that sort of stuff in the welcome email after they fill in the onboarding form, you can set up an automatic messages that welcomes them, gives them their guide, gives them the Google Drive folder, gives them their check-in link, and they can all kind of save it in that email. So like even though it's not internal, they're still getting a welcome email. They're getting links to everything. They don't actually ever lose that email as long as they don't delete it. But they can actually find those links easily if they don't ever lose it. And then you can always resend it to them as well. Like you can easily resend from like MailerLite. And then you can add them into their 12 weeks of customer experience or however long it is. You can still record looms. You can still record videos. You can link them into the emails. Like there's still so much you can do for your customer experience. Just some people say like their clients don't open emails or whatever, but there's always going to be a
some clients might not open resources.
Exactly. Where they might open it if they get an email and they're prompted to open it on a separate function, separate platform that they check every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's things that you can do about both.
Yeah, I think it's more the lack of admin that kind of frustrates me a bit, because it does create like a little bit of inconsistency, but it sounds like it's coming back.
Yeah.
Making a bit of comeback.
I think so. Yeah, for sure. And it does have, what was I going to say? Like with the branding that we talked about before, you can do the advanced branding. You do get it on the App Store and stuff like that. I will say that, like, keep in mind the time it takes for it to go on, because, like, the bit that takes longer is all of your branding will change in your app, but, like, it takes a good few weeks before it's actually on the store.
Yeah.
But yeah, the branding can take a while, where if you're doing your advanced branding on Everfit, it's all just your app and it doesn't have to go through approvals and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's automatic. But if you're going through Trainerize, like, you do need to give it a 2-3 weeks minimum just for your internal app to change branding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some really significant holdups with Trainerize last year, like 3-4 months kind of thing. Yeah.
There were some big ones. But
I remember a couple people coming forward and telling us that.
Yeah, that it took a while. So if you are looking at rebranding or getting your branding into Trainerize, look at it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, I'd say I still rate Trainerize. They lost me for a bit, but they
lost all of us for a bit. Yeah, what would you rate it out of 10?
Or, well, if Everfit's like 7.5 to 8, I would say Trainerize is like 6.5 to 7.
Yeah.
1 point under.
I think
just for forms and resource.
It's gimmicky too. Like, it's very, I don't want to say childish, but it is very like just the way that it looks, it doesn't look expensive. It looks, I think it's even got like Comic Sans font or something like that. Like it's very like gimmicky.
But see, I quite like the customer portal where like I log in and I can see my training for that day. You can connect Garmin, Apple Watch, MyFitnessPal, I think Chronometer as well.
Yeah.
And like it comes up and it like on mine that I tested out for a client, it's got like steps, sleep, body fat, weight, like, and it's got quite a lot there of what you can actually track on it just on your own homepage as a client. Like, and it's got graphs of all of it. So it is pretty cool, like to me. And then you can also go in and see your whole calendar. You can easily move around your workouts as a client. Like you can just click and drag and change the day that you're working out. Like that's all really easy. Where I've heard before that like clients on Everfit, they're like, oh, it's really hard to move my workouts around.
Yeah, so, it is a little bit hard sometimes. Yeah. It takes a bit to change.
And this is what we mean by trialing out the app as a client, because you want to make sure that it's going to be easy for your clients to use, depending on your demographic as well, of how technically savvy they are.
It was, I must say, Everfit programs was a little bit hard to navigate when I first started. I was a bit confused by it.
Yeah.
Trainerize was much easier in that sense. Yeah. But it's not the end of the world. Like, because Trainerize, you just move it and it don't you, if like say you move it to Thursday, it'll bump the other Thursday program out and put it somewhere else.
No, like it'll keep it there and you just move it around.
Okay,
yeah.
Everfit's the same. It's just that it's more hidden.
Yeah. It's harder to see where like Trainerize you can go in and scroll for as long as your coach has provided you visibility for.
I'm having memories of it pop up.
Yeah.
And like the way that Trainerize training on the customer end is basically the exact same as Everfit.
It's pretty similar. Yeah, it's very close.
Yeah, it's just Everfit's a bit smaller in the fact that it still has a banner where Trainerize is the full thing.
Yeah. And you just like scroll the whole way through, where like Everfit has like its sections that you like make your way through. Yeah, each section. But like it's still got your habits that you can set your clients, they can tick off, they can create streaks.
Love habits.
And they love streaks. I was reading listening about a thing of streaks the other day, and it was saying like why streaks are so prevalent and why they're important, and it's because it gets people in the flow state, and it's like it creates the flow on effect that like you want to be hitting those streaks, because it like also gets a bit of dopamine hit of like being better and better.
You feel accomplished on shitty days.
And then you miss one and you're like, I want to do better next time, and then you're like you're trying to beat you like so streaks are a
you know thing. The only thing I don't like about that though, and Everfit you can turn this function off, is on Trainerize when you click habit to say complete, you go congratulations.
Yes.
And then you have to click the exit screen.
Yeah, you go click and then you have to go click.
I just want to tick it.
Yeah, like there
are. On Everfit, you can do it both ways. The coach has the power. So you can either just go tick.
That is pretty good.
Or you can like make it more detailed.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that is pretty good.
So, but yeah, I just hate the second screen.
Yeah.
I think my biggest thing, like, if you have clients that are really strapped for time, I am one of them people. If it takes me too long time, I don't like it. So that's kind of like I feel like it's not a necessary screen. So why is it popping up?
Yeah,
kind of thing. Like that's my thought process on it. That's what frustrates me.
Like you ticking it off is completing it, and then it's like fantastic, and you're
I've got my accomplishment. Make the little balloons pop out from the screen that I'm on. Like have a little. But if it's not a necessary screen for me, that's when I get really frustrated.
Yeah, okay.
Because I have the patience of an ant. So if you have like time bound clients, probably something good to think about too.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, overall pretty good app. I don't mind it.
These are probably two of the most comparable on the market. Like these two are kind of the same wireframe.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to say they're the same because they're not, but comparable. And we do notice that there's a big crossover with coaches with these two in particular.
Picking between the two.
Yeah, in particular.
If you're a Trainerize client, you're probably more than likely going to like Everfit. And if you're an Everfit client, then you might even be considering Trainerize. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So, no, it's been good. Man, we
have been talking for so long.
So sorry about that, but we did tell you to strap in. So we did give you a warning.
You
And
should hit your 10K steps by now.
yeah, well over. But yeah, we will come back and go into Kahuna's and my strength book. Probably won't be as long as of a chat, to be honest, and we'll probably go over a couple of other things.
We'll possibly have another app too,
maybe
by that point, because it is a month away.
True.
We can always look into that one fit.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's everything for today's episode, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to give us a follow on Spotify so we're in your ears all the time.
Let us know what you thought of this as well. Let us know your favorite app.
Yeah, let us know your app. Let us know what you thought of it. Comment on our most recent post. And make sure to share it with your friends as well. We love the love.
Yeah. We love love.
Love. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.